Our top story, the intrusion by Russia and China into the Western Hemisphere, and it's being roundly ignored by the left-wing media, Congress, the president's national security team, at least publicly. Russia has taken the bold step announcing it plans to establish its first ever military base in the Caribbean Sea just off the coast of Venezuela, only 1,350 miles from the Florida Keys. At this installation, Russia planning to keep nuclear-capable bombers, the same bombers that overflew the Caribbean last week with a Venezuelan Air Force. As Russia plans for a base in this hemisphere, China's 2021 agreed takeover of Israel's largest port, Haifa, may squeeze the United States Navy out of the port, which routinely hosts U.S. naval ships and drills. According to the Jerusalem Post, U.S. defense officials privately concerned that, quote, sensitive infrastructure matters haven't been properly vetted by Israel's full national security cabinet prior to approval. And let's not overlook the united efforts of both China and Russia when it comes to our national security. According to new reports, those two countries are working together on experiments to modify the atmosphere, which could turn weather into weapons, creating natural disasters such as hurricanes and earthquakes. That's the goal. The frequencies generated by these weapons would also affect human brain function. And what may be most concerning to the Government Accountability Office, the United States tonight is unable to defend against Russia and Chinese hypersonic weapons. The report finding, quote, China and Russia pursuing hypersonic weapons because of their speed, altitude, and maneuverability, which may defeat most missile defense systems, and they may be used to improve long-range, conventional, and nuclear strike capabilities. And these are the chilling words. There are no existing countermeasures in the U.S. arsenal. Joining us tonight, retired four-star General, Fox Business Chief Strategic Analyst, General Jack Keane. General, great to have you with us. That is quite a litany of threats posed just in this hemisphere. Your thoughts and your concerns about the absolute failure of the past two administrations to respond to the intrusion of both Russia and China, particularly in Central and South America.
Yeah, well, Lou, you know, I spent a year on the commission looking at the national defense strategy, and we just issued our report a few weeks ago, and clearly this administration has correctly identified Russia and China as part of a big power competition that the United States is engaged in. But the reality is their military capacities have closed on ours, and in certain areas, and you've identified one of them, there's some others as well, they exceed our capabilities. Right. And when you look at what they're doing in terms of their geopolitical strategy, dominate their own region, expand globally in terms of their own national interests, they're seeking other countries to be dependent on them, and they're also seeking domination. They are clearly clashing with U.S. national interests in our own hemisphere, in the Pacific, and in Europe, and actually also in the Middle East. There is not a major area where we're not clashing with Russia and China, at least one of them, in some cases, two of those countries. And
the National Security Advisor, John Bolton, announcing the Africa Initiative, Africa Prosper, last week. But at the same time, no public, at least strategy announced of any kind to defend the U.S. interest in this hemisphere and to preserve our region of influence, which seems like a fundamental proposition for any national security foreign policy.
No, I agree with you. We did not have a strategy to deal with Africa under the previous administration, and this administration has finally put one together. Right. And we got to give Bolton and the national security team credit for doing it, and I think the strategy is right on the mark. It's not about more troops in Africa. It's about using our economic engine to influence it and to break the chain of dependency that China and Russia is imposing on those nations. We need to do the same thing now, Lou, with our own hemisphere. Absolutely. And that's why I think the national security teams have been down there visiting. But we've got to fashion a Western Hemisphere strategy to confront Russia and China's influence.
This is such a natural for the president who identified the weakness in sustaining R&D and building new weapons, building out our Navy, and replacing the remarkable aged Air Force fleet of war jets. But at the same time, this is a perfect region for the president to exert his leadership and his influence with his energy and his capacity to bring his vision to all of North and Central and South America.
Yeah, and it's got to be a comprehensive strategy. I mean, these countries, some of them are not as strong as they were a number of years ago. They're economically challenged. Some are moving towards socialism. We're very much very much aware of. And when we've got Iranians, Hezbollah, also in Central and South America. I mean, these nations have seen this as fertile ground to advance their national interest. And just a footnote about military technology here. What the Chinese and the Russians have developed with these hypersonic weapons is that, and you're right, there's no defense of it according to the GAO, and the Defense Department has said as much themselves. And of course, my commission that I was a part of, we certainly affirmed the same thing. These weapons could take out our carrier battle groups before they would ever be able to launch a single cruise missile or a single aircraft. They can reach all of our air bases in the Pacific, where we currently have our fighters, and take them down before we'd ever launched an aircraft. They could reach all of our air bases that we currently have in Europe and do the same and stop a carrier battle group from coming into the Baltic Sea. This is a significant military advance that they've made. Now, we are fast moving to do something about it, and certainly the Trump buildup is going to be very critical to achieving it.
And 2 contracts, and substantial, about $1 billion have already been put out on contract for R&D and development of these hypersonic weapons. And to explain the expression hypersonic, it is 5 times the speed of sound or higher, which is an extraordinary, obviously extraordinary.
Yeah, 10
speed.
times. So 10 times the speed of sound.
And
remarkable technology.
Yeah, well, and all the more remarkable if we can get caught up. And certainly, as you lay it out, there's no choice here but to get caught up, and caught up quickly, as the president fully intends. General Jack Keane, as always, good to see you.